At this point, we've worked out where the club is. It's some of its potential strengths, some of its potential weaknesses, some of the potential threats. We now need to work out where it wants to go, what it wants to be, who UHI wants to be in the next 5 years. And so for this we have my ubiquitous flip chart paper. And everyone can add various things to it. And we will have, at the end of this process, a copy of this also onto the website. So, vision.
Should have gone to Specsavers.
So potentially things, where would people like the club to be in 5 years? What would the club look like?
Due to the size of the club, hopefully, firstly, still functioning as a club.
I think bigger.
Setting your bar quite low.
Yeah. This is ultimately like ideal case scenario. Everything works out perfectly. Then, what would, if you were to close your eyes and envisage the perfect sailing club, the perfect university sailing club in the west coast of Scotland, what would it look like?
Indoors.
Yeah. Dry.
In all seriousness,
It's
though,
all physics. Yeah.
having more flexibility and robustness of things we can do in poorer weather, like
Yeah. So
indoors using keel boats more, that sort of thing, to make to allow more.
I think these are several different things
Yeah.
potentially all.
You maybe have a keel boat.
Yeah. So
It depends. I don't know. So I'm not sure how specific you want here.
you can be as specific or non-specific as you want.
Because more generally, it would be more robust to the vagaries of weather. But I guess that breaks down to specifically maybe having a keel boat, working with Oban to improve onshore facilities, that sort of thing.
So these are all wonderful goals and ways to get to it. Is there potentially an overarching kind of aim in that? Maybe.
Still have fun in winter.
Yeah. Sure.
Which is
Fun.
No, maybe
In-
let us.
Yeah,
So-
or in the summer when the weather feels like it's winter.
Yeah. So it's a club that's still fun in the depths of winter. Excellent. What else might that club be? Bigger? Smaller?
Aiming, hopefully, when I leave, to be hitting about 40 members.
So don't think about your time in the club. If you were to come back for a PhD, for example, after a couple of years away, what would you want the club to be when you walked in through the door?
Generally more diverse in terms of places we operate out of. So encompassing more campuses.
So,
Bigger?
Pan UHI?
Yeah, not just SAMs, but actual UHI.
And UHI. Ship. What else would we like the club to be in
Get
5
more
years' time?
involved into yachting, Like-
Yeah, I think that's.
cruising as well.
Is that too
Implemented-
specific?
I mean, it's quite specific,
That's nice.
but
See if like Jamie's
utilise the
moving away.
opportunities available on the west coast,
Yeah, because
the yachting opportunities specifically.
if the hunter is away and I don't know, Open Sailing Club situation might change.
Yeah, at the moment our
Then there are
keel
no
boating
keel
yachting
boats.
side of things is less secure than
Yeah.
our dinghy surfing side
Yeah.
of things.
Utilising
Well,
the
surfing is good.
yachting
Yeah, that includes, I was including that in the good stuff.
opportunities on the west coast.
West is best.
West is the best for yachting. What else might we like the club to be?
Consistent level of people development. So having a clear development pathway from someone who comes in at any point on it and being able to improve them through that pathway.
Training. Pathway for members.
More experienced in things other than sailing. So more
Training
people,
pathway for all members.
including kind of instructory, coachy level stuff in other sports.
Sporting plus volunteer development. Yep. What else might you like the club to be?
Consistent level of racing ability.
As in the level you're recruiting or the level that you are performing at?
Performing at.
Good, because that the other one is very hard to control.
Consistently at what level?
Well, that could be
Consistent.
defined by what you're wanting.
Well,
Because you can
Not
consistently
necessarily,
go
yeah.
last.
yeah. I'm not going to make any jokes. Yeah.
Without
So, yeah,
without being
where-
too
Yeah.
facetious here,
Yeah,
I think that is something that's worth
define it a
specifying.
little bit more.
I think I know what you mean, but yeah, specifying like what level do you think would be in 5 years' time
If you could
a
turn
good
up
level for
and go racing, and
Like,
what
what
level
we
would
speak
you
like
expect? The first
Silver
team to be
Fleet.
competing at, for example.
Yeah.
Or,
are we speaking here, or are we thinking in contention for top stuff? Or are we just thinking, like
yeah, is this potentially a team which goes to finals every year, or is a team which maybe qualifies for playoffs, or
In contention for playoffs. At
Okay.
a stage where we actually have 6 people who can turn up to every event and actually qualify.
okay, so that's
Potentially.
maybe that's a consistent team.
yeah,
So developing the club so that there is actually a core team of people who are keen to go off to the racing events and work together as a team, as opposed to we can always have other people going for
and yeah,
flexible for fun.
and
The amount of times we didn't get into Gold League this year really annoyed me.
results to approximately playoffs qualifications.
And I would just lose that.
That's not necessarily a ridiculous suggestion. Like, for all that you're laughing, if you look at Steve Cockrell, has a consistent story with a lot of his stuff of basically turning up at one of the Birmingham universities and taking a reasonable team and winning finals, doing very well in finals over the time that he was there. So this was kind of 5-6 year time period with engineering time. So actually it is possible to get a team,
That'll be a good bit in the video.
or even to get a team which has the potential to win Booster.
First off, we'd have to get the team.
I think there's maybe also
But
something
you're thinking of your key goals to get there.
possibly, as well as thinking of the exact level they're performing at, thinking of a kind of beyond just the results they get, which are not just how good we are, it's how good everyone else is, and lots of things that are out with our control. But possibly, I like this idea of having that the club is at a stage where it has a key group of people who are regularly attending, and that there's a secure team throughout the year. That I think would be quite a good sign of how
Having consistent teams.
how our club size has reached a sustainable level, and also our club development has reached a sustainable level, where we're not having to go, okay, so who can get to this event? Okay, like, have we got enough people to that side of things?
Potentially a consistent core group.
And that applies to all different activities, to yachting
Yeah.
stuff as well, say.
Excellent.
Maybe we could also add in, enter a non-sailing competition. Maybe that's getting too specific again, but see if we could actually get some people off to run the surfing competitions that we occasionally get
Okay,
information
yeah.
of, or a windsurfing thing, or just have
So yeah, opportunities to compete beyond
beyond the basic
sailing.
dinghy and keelboat. Because we do have these other sports, and so far we've not looked at them competitively at all. But especially if we're speaking of a club that's more across UHI here, there may well be people who are keen to go to a surfing weekend competition or something.
Okay.
consistent level of funding
Yeah.
and access to resources.
Money is ultimately a challenge, so financially stable, saving towards the next big project consistently, and with a clear plan of what that money's going to be used for potentially.
Yeah, a clear development and not just improvement, but maintenance plan in the longer term with regards to boats and boards and all the other assets that would be lovely to have. Could be a busy 5 years.
Potentially, but again, a lot of these things link up with each other, and a lot of these things actually build the club around them. So, for example, a club which is fun in the winter is actually going to be doing all of these things because these are the things which actually are enjoyable about being part of the Wind and Wave Club.
Yep.
Or utilising our yachting opportunities, maybe part building in to increase the size of the club and becoming a more pan-UHI institution.
Maybe there's a social element to this as well.
I was thinking
This
that
is-
too, but
Yeah, this is one of the things that we haven't really talked about in great detail currently.
That I'm aware we're a club that don't do hugely. We do social in the element of it's a fairly small club with a fairly small group that
Everyone
we'll go-
knows each other, everyone sees each other regularly.
yeah. So we'll have a barbecue, or we'll after a sailing event, or we'll all go to the chipper for a meal or stuff. But we haven't done so much of that. When we first started, we I think worked harder
We
at
do
that.
quite a lot of that, yeah.
So I remember we did all go we all went for a meal at Piazza, I think, related to something. That sort of thing, just kind of slightly more of a social program. Not saying every Thursday's sailing club drinking night, but a varied social program.
I think it would be cool to have a pub or a restaurant where we could get a discount for Wind and Wave Club people. So where we could potentially, meet
See if we
up
get
and have meetings and stuff as
Sponsored by the Lauren. And also, it's just
Yeah.
maybe the views
Again-
somewhere to speak to it.
Well,
Sorry, I know
and
this is
again,
getting really
this
specific.
is getting into key goals
Yeah.
and objectives.
But yeah, a social program and a varied one
Yeah.
that encompasses the fact that we've got quite a wide-ranging club in terms of the age of people in the club and in terms of everything. So there's going to be different
Right,
things to
I'm
look
very
for.
old.
And that's something that is no so much. I didn't mention earlier. This year's sign up, we've had a lot more people who are older sign up.
Consistent summer activities, so the club doesn't just end when exams end, but there is a continuation throughout the summer.
Or at least, yeah,
Or
doing a
the
better job of
opportunity.
passing people. I think we're quite good at advertising what Oban do, but maybe
Things beyond.
getting people
well.
into that might be
Yeah.
how we at the moment we tell people, but we don't actually get that many people signing up. To a degree, that's because most people leave. But
Yeah, which
But
is a
we
kind
could
of consistent
definitely- we could
university
definitely do
club
better with
kind of
that.
thing. But actually, yeah, there are people still kind of floating around.
and that probably ties into another one of doing better at not just having these affiliations which mutually benefit in terms of primarily equipment and experienced people, which is what we currently do, but actually having less of a boundary visible in terms of what people are competing in events and stuff. So, for instance, not many UHI people really join in with OSC racing, but there's an
Yeah.
opportunity that would really help upskill people, would be people going just regularly basic
Deeper
round the cans
collaboration.
racing.
But that is mainly during summer, where
It is, yeah. But
Okay.
that's something we could change. We could discuss with Oban and say, hey, look, we've still got the boats in a lot longer than you used to keep them in. There's all these people around here keen to sail. Maybe we could discuss with them extending the sailing season by a few weeks.
Thinking
That's
about
not
our key goals.
That's not an unachievable change, actually. To see if we could continue get more happening between the clubs when we are here.
So I reckon that's probably a good, in terms of a vision of the club,